You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's showtime. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.
I Max asks, Kadeem answers. Are we live? Yes, we are live over on YouTube, over on Twitter. Guys, the Miami Dolphins sweep the New York Jets 34-10 in this second game over at MetLife in what was their rivalries game. This is slowly becoming a one-sided rivalry, especially when Tua plays. But before we delve into all of that and I introduce my guest, we have some breaking news. Lee, have you seen the breaking news?
No, because I was waiting for you.
Okay, so apologies. Week 16 matchup against the Bengals has adjusted start time of 1 p.m. So that game is now a 1 p.m. kickoff. Do you think that benefits the Dolphins or not? What do you think?
The games are Hard Rock, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Going to massively affect the Dolphins. We know they're way better in the 1 o'clock slot, but for whatever reason, home or away, they play better at 1 o'clock. That game should be flexed. The Bengals have got a bad enough record for it to be flexed. Dolphins haven't been good, so there's going to be some better games on the slate. But yeah, I don't think a 1 o'clock game in Miami is ever a bad thing.
Yeah, I think the Bengals capitulated against the Bills on Sunday night, and I believe that eliminated them from the playoffs. So had they won, that game is potentially one of the teams could make the playoffs, but the Bengals threw it away, quite literally. So why would you put a team with like a 1% chance against a team who are officially eliminated? So speaking about officially eliminated, the New York Jets are officially eliminated after the 34-10 loss. Quick question, Lee. Coach after the game said the second time this season we won 34-10. Who was the other team we beat 34-10?
The Falcons.
As Charlie would say, well done, Junior Grasshopper. Yes, it was the Falcons. And I know you quite personally. I know you have a child, so this one will be right up your street. The Dolphins win brings their record to what?
6-7.
6-7. Oh, I was so hoping you would.
I ain't going down that road.
I was so hoping I'd get you back. And I was going to clip it as well. But 6-7.
Yeah, I know what you're waiting for.
Oh, listen, a win is a win. Talk me through your thoughts on the opening 3 Dolphin drives.
Game over. Job was done, wasn't it? The Jets' heads were spinning. You put 21 points up on the board, got a couple of turnovers, and at that point, what was it? The third drive, I think. Tyrod Taylor left the game as well, and you're now facing an undrafted rookie. I mean, if you lose from that stage, it might be the worst loss of the season. So, it felt like job done, and it was just a case of don't get lulled into some sort of false sense of security by being up big in the first quarter, which I don't know if that happened, but they gave the Jets some chances to have some highlight plays.
Yeah, you sent me a tweet from Mr. Omar Kelly, former Miami Dolphins beat writer, although he might be a beat writer again. He said, if this team... No, that's the wrong tweet. He tweets quite a lot. You send me quite a lot of his tweets. Lee, where's that tweet you sent me about Omar? Oh, I'll find it on his thing. Omar Kelly has tweeted quite a lot today, as I said. He said, nope, 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 nope. This is really bad podcasting, so I apologize greatly. But I basically said if the Dolphins could basically finish games as they started, especially in the third quarter, this could be a good team. And he threw up some stats. Here it is. Dolphins are outscored 78-27 in the third quarter. They win the first 68-48, the second 91-70, and the fourth is close. They are losing 92-100. That comment from IMAX was up way too long. Apologies. But yeah, you mentioned a full sense of security. And yeah, the Dolphins got up 21-0, but they kind of just plateaued after that. Do you think it was a matter of the paper planes figuring out the Dolphins system and Tua playing badly, or was a lot of it predicated on Devon Achane being injured and going out the game?
I think there's probably a bit of everything. I think it's a bit of the Dolphins looking a little bit too comfortable, trying to get maybe away from what had given them the success in the first three drives. Then when Achane gets hurt as well, that obviously plays into it. Didn't think he was going to come back into the game just because of the scoreline, regardless of if he was available. I think it's hard to say that the Jets suddenly figured the Dolphins out after three drives. They had an entire week to figure this team out. They've had two matchups to figure this team out and haven't been able to do it yet. Yet all of a sudden, after three drives, apparently they've done it. More than likely, everybody knows where this game's going. There's no fans in the stands. The beat writers are pointing out how checked out a bunch of the Jets players are. This is just a case of trying to get to the end healthy,
Yeah.
which obviously didn't happen for the Jets. I mean, they dropped like flies, which is, kind of felt a bit bad for them. Just every play, someone else going down, it looked bad. But yeah, three drives kind of put the game to bed.
Yeah, I felt like Devon Achane, so he had 7 attempts for 92 yards. That's rushing. He also had 1 reception for 13 yards. So he broke 100 yards in like the first quarter without breaking the sweat. And the paper planes couldn't stop Achane. Jaylen Wright had 107 yards of 24 attempts. And I did feel like coach stuck with the run going, they can't stop the run, but they kind of have stopped the run. There were quite a few times where the Dolphins kind of got into that really bad, and all NFL teams have this bad habit of run the first 2 plays or run, kind of get stuffed, pass, nothing happens, and it's kind of like, oh snap, we're kind of behind where we would like to be. I said on the preview, and I said it in the UK group, the Jets special teams is one of the best in terms of punt and kick returns. And you saw that on the touchdown. And you also kind of felt that every single time there was a punt or kick return, they were picking up yards. But like I also said, they can't move the ball. They genuinely can't move the ball. They move the ball better with Brady Cook. But the only way this was going to be a close game was if the Dolphins turn the ball over or the paper planes special teams put up points, and that's basically what happened for a very short while, I guess.
Yeah. Like you say, the plateau throughout the middle of the game. Dolphins offense. I think they were trying to get some stuff done. You didn't have those kind of. I think it might have been 2 drives where Achane had gone down and Wardle went out hurt as well. And I think we mentioned it on the preview podcast. The other wide receivers on this team need to step up and do something. We had some fun with the tight ends though.
Yeah.
Which is nice to see. Felt like they probably needed to try and get Waller a bit more involved. But it felt like the Jets saw that as a threat and tried to take him away a little bit more, leaving the other guys with some more opportunities. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people complaining after another win. It's amazing how many ways we can find to complain about our team winning.
Do you think those complaints come from a place of, and I mean this genuinely, wanting the team to be better? So, we spoke about it off air before we went live. The Dolphins, Tua starts off 7 for 7, and he is carving the Jets up. And then it's where like the Jets start to pick up some injuries, but the Dolphins couldn't move the ball through the air. And I feel like there could have been some like what the Jets found in success with Brady Cook was very quick out to guys, which the Dolphins kind of didn't really have. There were some timing issues, there was some good pass breakup by the Jets. But is this are these complaints coming from a place of this would have been a really good get right game for Tua in terms of especially when they get at 21 zip, you can basically do what you want. And yet Tua couldn't get into a rhythm after going for 7 for 7, and he nearly handed the ball back a few times. Do you think the complaints come from just wanting better from everyone, including QB1?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. Because if that's not the reason, then the only plausible reason is you'd rather see this team lose games. So that if we can win games when he's not playing at his best, which is not something we've been able to say in the past, right? I think you brought it up in the show we did earlier this year. Like basically, Tua has to play his best for this team to win. That has been a staple under Mike McDaniel. When Tua plays bad, the team loses. But all of a sudden, they're starting to win games when he's still not playing well. So we've seen flashes this year where he's looked good, played well in a few games. Off the top of my head, Atlanta, Buffalo, thought he played well in the Panthers game for the most part. I think it was, played well in the first Bills matchup, even in a loss. Like you can play well in a loss. That's the thing. But the Dolphins have now found ways to win when he doesn't play at his best, and I think that is a sign of this team changing for the better. Also, I think we heard a lot at the end of last season that people were fed up with players missing tackles, not looking like they were putting enough effort in. Well, this team may not be the best team that you've ever had, but this team is putting in the effort and finding a way to get those results. Coming together on defense, they look so much more cohesive on defense, like they want to be there for each other. You see them celebrating on the sideline after every big play by a defensive player. It's great to see. So, I mean, really, we just got to hope that Tua does find a way to get back on track. But say we've seen flashes. I don't think this is doom and gloom, and he's done. There's no going back to the old Tua. But they do have to figure some stuff out, and I do think they need to get someone in that wide receiver room playing up to a decent level because we're just not seeing enough.
Yeah. Shout out to some comments. Dolphin Forever says, love the live shows. Silent Finn fan says, was that a hollow victory? I guess a win's a win, but yeah, it did feel like we're just meandering through. And Keith says, good evening, gents. For me, it's not that he needs to get right, but that consistency is not there. 7 for 7 and then can't hit the side of a barn is worrying. I messaged Julie. There was I think it might have been after the Jaylen Waddle pushing the back penalty, when I was like, if I was the Dolphins, I'd run Darren Waller up the seam. And I think they just ran up the middle. I feel like I've said this for years now. I watch other teams play and I'm like, their guys just seem to be open. Like they run like the most basic routes and they're just open. And that doesn't quite happen with the Dolphins. And I feel like, yeah, just some what I would consider as an outsider watching the game, some easy concepts. Just have your tight end run in a straight line. If he's open, hit him and let him keep running.
Yeah, I think there's probably also some like there's probably a point in the Jets game specifically where do you want to empty the playbook against these guys up 3 scores when they don't look like they can move the ball? Like, cool. If you think you've got some of this stuff that you can use, after going 7 for 7, right? We had loads of misdirection. We had like ball fakes, hard fakes that that were getting guys open. Like, let's be honest, right? Tua was dealing in those first 7 passes, but also guys are getting open, right? But then after that, it all stopped. It wasn't like there was guys running all over the place still, but Tua couldn't hit them. Like, now, back to your original point, could the Jets have figured them out? Maybe. Did they just get a little bit more conservative? Because it's like, cool, we don't need to show more than this. When they needed to score late on after the Jets scored a couple of times, they found another way to score. It wasn't like they didn't have it in them. As we said, if the Jets can't stop the run, why stop doing it? Those are a lot of inside runs where it wasn't groundbreaking play design. It was just run it down your throat until you can find a way to stop us, which the Jets couldn't do for an entire game. So, yeah, I mean, you're right. We don't seem to run those kind of basic plays, and maybe that's a case of, I think you said in the previous show, is Mike McDaniel outsmarting himself? Maybe that's a case of that. But so sometimes just run the basic stuff. But I think it's hard when you're in a situation where you go up against a team that is also looking as bad as the Jets have done, when the Jets haven't looked that bad in a lot of their games. They haven't been in a position where they're down huge early. They've been competitive, but yeah, so maybe it's a bit of an anomaly. They just need to keep finding a way to keep this rolling. I think before it was Tua can't win under 40 degrees. And as fans, it's, well, he needs to find a way to do it. They found a way yesterday. And yes, it might have been with the run game and it might have been with good defense. Never been able to do that before under 40 degrees. So something changed. And also, I don't think the Jets never got to the stage where they simply sold out to stop the run. Because I think they still live in fear of Tua hitting those first 7 passes and having never beat Tua. Do you know what I mean? They never came down and just said, fine, Tua's no longer playing as well as he was in the first half, beat us in the passing game. Because they still couldn't find a way to stop the run.
But then quickly, is that because once Achane went out, it's they kind of didn't have to worry so much? Like, if Achane stays in that game and continues to gash them, do you think they then go, you know what, we're going to have to start stacking this box and, leaving Waddle and basically it's just Waddle 1-on-1? Like, I would have been very interested to see how the rest of that game continues if Achane doesn't go out hurt.
The problem is they still didn't stop the run either way. Because like you said, Jaylen Wright came in and still had himself a day. And that's even after losing yards on a few plays there, especially towards the end of the game. He took a big loss on a play.
Yeah, exactly. It's very funny. We say, bad quarterback play, stuff like that. Zach Wilson came in and the run game was just like, nah, we don't care no more. Like, it is what it is. Like, there is nothing. I would have loved to have also seen the Dolphins run a really hard play action and see if they can get a Waller wide open for a touchdown from Zach Wilson. That would have been quite fun. But yeah,
it would have been fun to see Zach Wilson score against the Jets.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm not a big Zach Wilson fan, but he must have felt pretty sweet for him to go out there and take some knees in the game against them.
Yeah. The Dolphins at the moment, and especially the way you see a lot of social media, NFL guys on social media saying, pay attention to what the Dolphins are running, or the plays the Dolphins are designing on the ground. Is this the best run game in the NFL currently?
Hard to tell, isn't it? Because it's still considered a bad team and the teams are playing are bad. I think we'll learn a lot more Monday night against Pittsburgh Steelers.
You say that. The Pittsburgh Steelers have given up a lot on the ground.
Exactly. That's kind of my point, is that This run game should be able to go into Pittsburgh and have success. But we know that two things have been true over the last 3 years. Tua struggled in the cold. It will be colder again. And the Dolphins have played bad in prime time against big teams with a winning record. Pittsburgh still got a winning record?
Yes, because they won last night.
So this is as big a matchup as they would have played since what, maybe that Cowboys game, a night game that they had to win. So I think we'll learn a lot this week because by all accounts this run game should travel.
During the current 4-game win streak, the Dolphins are averaging a league best 192 yards per game on the ground and a top 3 in yards per carry, EPA rush attempt, and rushing success percentage. And yeah, the Dolphins' last 4 games running the ball, 197 yards versus the Bills, 169 versus the Commanders, 164 yards against the Saints, and 239 against the Jets. And if I can very quickly find those Steelers stats, because I did find it quite interesting where basically, like, I don't know if you saw the Steelers Bills games or like the stuff coming out of it.
I saw the Steelers Bills game.
But I think TJ Watt said after, they were just like, they ran the same play like 19 times or 20 times. Could not stop them. That is bad. Like, really, really, really bad. And I would like to think that the Dolphins are going to stick with this and go, hey, we're coming into Pittsburgh, but we don't care when we are going to, run the ball down their throats.
The Dolphins should stick with it. Like we mentioned in the preview show, right? Tyreek Hill's not coming back, so you're not getting the explosive pass game that you had, right? Because an explosive pass game can't be Jaylen Waddle and a bunch of guys, right? The whole thing was prefaced on having Jaylen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, and you don't have anyone that is providing a threat right now. So this offense has evolved because the personnel has changed. It's not an indictment of the quarterback either. This is a personnel thing.
Yeah, it will be very interesting. We know that Achane hasn't broken his ribs. Hopefully it's just, and again, the coach did say he could have brought him back in if he wanted to, didn't feel the need to. So I guess we will definitely take that. Just looking up, I can't find the Steelers one thing, but it is what it is. We have a very quick break, and then when we come back, we will talk, I guess, whatever we want to talk about. Back in 2 secs.
Enjoying the episode so far? Whether you're watching in the comfort of your own home or on the go, Go Time Dolphins is where you want to be for your fix on all things Dolphins. So hit that like button, drop a comment below, and make sure to subscribe to the channel to help us keep growing and reaching more Fins fans around the world.
Shout out to Fins Extra. I feel like he read my mind because I want to talk offensive line. So there's a few tweets from PFF which Fins Extra has kindly given us. So Patrick Paul against the Jets, 65 snaps played, 0 sacks allowed, 0 QB hits allowed, 0 pressures allowed, 0 hurries allowed. Jonas Avanaya, 65 snaps played, 0 sacks allowed, 0 QB hits allowed, 1 pressure allowed, 1 hurry allowed. And then Aaron Brewer, 58 snaps played. When did he come off the field? Clearly for 7 snaps, but
must have been at the end.
I'm going to assume it. I'll have a very quick look to see if it was. 0 sacks allowed, 0 QB hits allowed, 1 pressure allowed, 1 hurry allowed. The Jets' defensive line isn't the best, but it's decent. Are we seeing essentially what we haven't been able to do in years, which is, even though Austin Jackson's replaced Larry Bowen, have like a solid unit. Cole Stranger playing well. You're seeing Jonah play, getting better and better and better every week. And then Patrick Paul and Aaron Brewer, 2 of the best players in the positions playing football right now. This offensive line good?
It's certainly getting better. It's much improved from the start of the season. I think, like you said, consistency is key to everything. I know Austin Jackson's come back in, but that's still an upgrade. But the rest of the guys have been together for a year, and you can see that sort of cohesion, especially in the run game. When you see guys getting to the second level, there's some really cool clips of Jonah getting to the second level, of Brewer getting to the second level, and picking up blocks and springing guys for good chunk yardage. It still has a chance to be better. Like the touchdown to Jaylen Waddle, Tua's still getting hit on that play, and I don't know if he held onto the ball too long. It didn't feel like it in the moment. So, well, that must have been on Austin Jackson, come off the right side, I think, didn't it?
Yeah.
There was a couple of busted plays as well that no one picked up anybody. So it's not perfect, but it's certainly improving. Again, you're going to face TJ Watt this week. Right? It's another good test coming up.
So I'm just looking. Who would be the most likely person to come in for? No, that doesn't really count. Yeah, I'm just very interested. If Aaron Brewer came off the field for 7 snaps, I would love to know who it was for. And I'm trying to. I want snap counts. I want game by
I haven't watched the game back yet.
Yeah, I thought I could see it by the highlights. But the highlight stops after the Ethan Bonner interception.
You mean they don't show the Zach Wilson snaps?
No, which I'm very annoyed about.
Unbelievable.
Hold on, here we go. Week 14. Let's have a look. Offensive line. So it looks like Jonah and Patrick Paul play all 65 snaps. Cole Strange plays 63. Aaron Brewer plays 58. Austin Jackson plays 58. Okay, it must be Keon Smith. So Keon Smith plays 2 snaps. That could be in place for Cole Strange. And then, Larry Borum plays 7 snaps. So was Larry Borum snapping to Aaron Brewer? That could be what happened. But Borum and Keon Smith came in. I was assuming in relief duty towards the end. But no, I think listen, this isn't a top 5 unit in the league. I'm not going to pretend it's a top 5 unit in the league. But I feel like we aren't getting much complaints about bad O-line play over the last few weeks. And I think, I don't want to bring up Chris Greer's infamous, you're more worried about the defensive line than we are. But I feel like this is what the Dolphins had hoped to get last year. It's been, it might not be the best 5 individuals, but it's a cohesive unit.
I mean, if that's not the name of this episode, Chris Greer was right. Like, you're doing something wrong, my friend. Like, that is an amazing quote.
It's already done. Like, it's live on YouTube. I obviously can go back and change it. I can tweet it. Was Chris Greer right about the offensive line all along? And just watch the hate just pile in on us and be like, really, dude? He's double mace. Yeah. So I thought I got a message from the big boss. No. Before we get into overtime, is there anything else you wanted to mention? I feel like it was one of the most routine wins the Dolphins are going to have all season, and okay. Were there any negatives from that game? It was like, do you know what? Let's clean this up. This wasn't good enough.
Yeah, no, I think there's still a few things that need clearing up. Like, you need to get Ollie Gordon going.
Yeah,
Ollie Gordon has struggled for a few games. I think there is part of that is coming into games a bit cold.
Yeah,
but go on.
Because I messaged you, I was like, it's very interesting he's going Jaylen Wright over Ollie Gordon. But then do you think that botch handoff between him and Tua where he drops it, he does recover it, but that kind of like, we're now going to keep riding Jaylen Wright because he hasn't dropped the ball.
there has to be some like we're riding the hot hand, but then you can only get hot by getting carries, right?
Yeah.
So the excuse for Ollie Gordon is he's not getting carries. The one thing I would say is he cuts an extremely frustrated figure after all of his runs recently. I don't know exactly what it is, but something is just not sitting right with him. So it'd be cool to see him get going again. We've seen him in some games this year where it looks like the real deal. So we need to get back to that. But he is also a rookie, and we're getting late in the season here. So these things do happen with rookies.
I think I'll double check. I feel like he spoke this week, and spoke about basically, yeah, he definitely did speak this week. It was on the it was on a podcast. I just saw it a second ago.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I literally, this is so stupid. Anyway, to the person who had the podcast, great, well done. But yeah, basically, he has that decisiveness you have in college hasn't translated to NFL yet, where he's like, hey, I'm running, I see the hole, I'm gonna hit it, as opposed to, I'm running, did I see a hole? Like, I feel like that's where that frustration comes from. He probably knows he's left yards or a touchdown, on the field simply because he hasn't trusted his instincts. But again, he's a rookie. Achane played so well, he hasn't probably got the snaps that he wanted. And then when he does see the field, you have the failed conversion on 4th and 1 in Madrid, and then the botch snap or the botch handoff. Sorry. So yeah, I imagine it's just a case of him being annoyed with some of his play.
Yeah, it just feels like we need to try and help get him going. Like I said earlier, I think we need to see Waller get a bit more involved as well. They went to him early in the game, but then after that was pretty quiet. I know there was the tip pass that was heading for Waller, but felt a little bit quiet. I don't know if they're still managing his snaps a little bit. Wouldn't be surprised if they are. They've got some games coming up here that are all of a sudden looking like important games, which we may not have said 7 or 8 weeks ago.
It was the Caps Off podcast. So shout out to the guys at the Caps Off podcast. An interview came out 5 days ago. Whether he said it 5 days ago, we don't know. But no, I think, yeah, I guess like I said, this could have been a great get right game, not just for Tua, but for Malik Washington, even Cedric Wilson. It's like, again, a cleaner operation throughout the game could have, really seen a more convincing and comprehensive. So Banana said, let me know when we play the team with the winning record and actually beat them. Buffalo Bills a few weeks ago. That was very easy and very quick. No offense, but again, I messaged Julie yesterday. The Saints, who gave us a hard time, just beat the Bucks, who were 7-5 at the time. The Panthers, who beat us, who we also could have beat though, they beat the 8-2 Rams at the time. You can only play what's in front of you. The Jets are coming off a winning, had won the last game, even though they weren't, they've got a losing record. But we beat Buffalo, so yeah,
we won winning games.
100%. 100%. We are going to get into overtime. Banana, thank you for the comment. If you have any more, drop them. We can, answer any questions or anything. Thanks for the comment so far, and we shall see you on the other side of overtime. That is the wrong video.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's showtime. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time.
I'll say very quickly, it was quite funny. I messaged you throughout the game. So I was at the Hippodrome as always. I'm watching other games at the same time. And obviously, in a week where Dolphin fans are saying, I want Mike Tomlin, it was interesting watching the Steelers for a few reasons. What did they have? They burnt a timeout quite early. Because as you know, all teams do that. But they also had I think they had a full start in the first half, and I believe they also had and a delay of game. All teams have these penalties. Steelers, one of the most well-run organizations with a well-respected head coach and a very senior quarterback as well, struggle with plays. That's just me being petty because I'm a very petty person. So yeah, is what it is. You're not the biggest. Is it fair to say you're not the biggest fan of Jack Jones?
I have not been the biggest fan of Jack Jones.
But do you think him and Rasul Douglas have been good additions so far this season?
Yeah, I think I said a couple of weeks ago when we were talking, like, I wasn't a fan of Jack Jones signing because he has been so up and down. I think over the course of maybe the last 5 weeks, you've seen him keep himself under control and focus on the game. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he seems to have been more locked in. Now, I thought there was a chance that things got off the rails for him in Madrid with that terrible pass interference penalty, but he kept himself more reserved. In the past, Jack Jones is also getting a penalty on that play for continuing to go at the referee. Like, that's, I think he's managed to find a way to refine his game and rein it in and put it all into the plays between the whistles, which is great to see. I'm happy to say that I was wrong. He's playing great football.
Yeah.
That's great.
I think I've seen a lot of people say bring back Jones and Russell Douglas, and I'm pretty sure they, the opportunity will be there. I think that could be a really good opportunity if you can get both of them back. They will take and if the board falls that way, I've seen the Dolphins, mocks take a cornerback in the, with their early pick. If you can add a rookie cornerback and have the time to sit behind Russell Douglas, Jack Jones, also returning Kader Kohu. No, I think it's a shout out to Anthony Weaver. Heading into the game, the Dolphins had one of the worst second half defenses. But I thought, no, they, again, you can only play what's in front of you. You have a rookie quarterback, an undrafted rookie quarterback at that. Yeah, he might have, it's funny. Someone in the UK group was like, the defense has played really, really well, but also Brady Cook has outplayed Tua. But Brady Cook also, when he got into the red zone, threw 2 back-breaking interceptions. And I also think that they weren't even really good plays by the cornerbacks. They were just like, dude, can you not see me standing here? Like, what do you think you're doing? So, what do you make of the defense in the second half, given how it's been in recent weeks?
Yeah, I thought they played well. For the most part, they still had the Jets offense still were able to get in the red zone twice. Didn't look like doing that in the entire first half. So, I mean, you could make the argument that, the plays were there for the Jets to score touchdowns.
So Brady
They
Cook
could have had
did
14
play
more.
Tua. Cool. Yeah, that's fine.
I didn't
No. Listen, I'm just saying if the Jets got to the red zone multiple times in the second half, but the Dolphins only got there once, then he got outplayed. Is what it is. You said it.
He already had 3 touchdowns up on the board on offense, so it's fine.
Well, technically, he only had 1 passing touchdown. 2. Listen, I'm only saying what the stats and the film shows.
Dean, he touches the ball every play. I'm just saying.
This is a Wildcat.
I'm just trying to wind you up.
Yeah, I know. Also, listen, Mike, Darren Waller on jet sweeps? No. Dude, no. Don't Don't let that.
There's other guys to do that.
Yeah, like Malik Washington, Jalen Waddle, anyone but the tight end who looks like he could break at any moment. Also shout out to Greg Dulwich, playing really, really, really well. That Pittsburgh game is going to be very interesting because I'm sure Johnny Smith will be like, I wish I was getting those targets and receptions. But yeah, it is what it is. Lee, I once again forgot to tell everyone where they can find you when you're not sitting here on Go Time Dolphins, your podcast and your social media, please.
5 Yard Lee, as it says on the screen here, and Dolphin UK podcast.
I think I am making my season debut fairly shortly.
You are.
So
Couple of weeks.
If you aren't already, follow the Dolphin UK podcast. See it all the time. Follow 5 Yard Lee on social media. But he doesn't really tweet that much. He's like me.
No.
Don't really tweet that much. On there a lot, but don't really tweet that much.
He uses it more to take in information.
Yeah.
I need to post more.
Nah, because it's just gonna start arguments with me. So there's no point. But listen, if you're finished with this episode, go back and watch countless others. We have an interview with Javon Holland, with Miles Gaskin, with Will Hayes, with OJ McDuffie. We have, former college players on there. Stay on the Go Time Dolphins channel, or go listen to the Dolphin UK podcast.
Watch Kadeem and Charlie in London.
Yes, actually, that's a very, very good episode. That really is really enjoyable. And also, if you're feeling generous around Christmas, ask your family members to get you a Go Time Dolphins Patreon subscription. It's like what, £3, like $3. But anyway, until the next time, we shall see you soon. Peace.
Oopsie.